We are back at it again here with another video with Invest for Tomorrow. To the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all subscribers, welcome back. I'll ask for returns for you guys to smash that like button, and here we are with another video, and we're going to break down STBX, their charts. We're going to look at AMC, we're going to look at APE, we're going to talk about GCT. There's been a lot of speculation and hype around these stocks, and they're slightly pulling back or sitting sideways, and we're going to look at what 42 Vision and the inflow versus outflow indicator is showing, what the SPY is showing, and also BBBY. But before we break it all down, I want to share with you guys the home run opportunity that was mentioned this morning over at the Discord. And as you see popping up here on the screen, these are some of the home runs that were managed to be found this week alone. And while it's not guaranteed to be this way every single day, we strive for opportunities like these every single day. So the home run of the day was spectacular and beyond expectations. And if you guys want to know about these stocks early on in the pre-market and receive this edge and clarity with our 42 Vision indicators and our bots, check out the link down below in the description to the Discord. And by joining, you'll become part of a growing community of investors, all looking to learn and grow together. So the stock that turned out to be a home run today was from our Tesla bot. Our Tesla bot sent out a bear indicator at 8:35 a.m. And from that moment forward towards the bell, there was weakness, and after the bell, and put options went up 200% plus within minutes, guys. And as you see there on the screen, the outflows crossed as well, try to come back up, rejected for a second time, and it continued to pull down lower, guys. If you guys want to receive this clarity and edge over the charts and know about these stocks early on in the pre-market, check out the link down below in the description to the Discord. We look forward to having you join us, and we strive for opportunities like these every single day. Let's jump into these charts. So here we are with STBX, Starbucks Group Holdings, and before we break it all down, I'm going to pull up the bull and bear indicators, which you can now gain access to as well. The link is down below in the description to the 42 Vision indicator, getting connected to the SPY bot, the QQQ bot, our newly released Tesla bot, and we have other bots on the way so that you can receive the clarity and edge that you deserve within the volatility of the markets to maximize on opportunities, whether stocks are going up or going down. And you can now join the members using these resources to maximize in either direction by receiving this clarity and edge over the charts. And in today's video, we're going to pull up the inflow versus outflow indicator, which adds that extra layer of confirmation and lets us see what's going on within the volatility to maximize in either direction. So here we are with STBX. We're going to talk about APE. We're going to talk about AMC. We're going to talk about GCT, the SPY, and BBBY, right? So STBX had a lot of eyes on it and a lot of attention, and in the last several days we've been talking about what's been going on here. There wasn't enough data the first 2 days until yesterday and also today, as we're seeing here on the 15-minute. We would need to zoom in on the 5-minute to kind of see a little bit more, since the first day things started to pop up. A lot of bull and bear indicators pumping up back and forth within the volatility, but on the 15-minute, this has been under a bear indicator since yesterday at 12.98, and the outflows started to cross. I pointed this out in yesterday's video. Going into the aftermarket hours, it was trying to bring itself back up, and I stated if it brought itself back up towards the midpoint, I was going to watch for that. Now, today, at the opening, it's been under the outflows all this time. It brought itself up and rejected. That's what made it pop up from $8 all the way back to $9, and quickly fell even lower, way back down towards $6. As soon as those outflows on the 15-minute got crossed, no bull indicator, and this bear indicator has been dominating. Going into tomorrow, I'm going to be watching closely if these inflows can continue here on the 15-minute, and if it can break through resistance levels such as $8, get back towards $9, and cancel out this bear indicator with a bull indicator. That's going to be important moving forward. Now, when we look at AMC here, which a lot of people were not expecting this type of move, but this is what's going on with the chart, right? So on the 15-minute, a little bit more volatile, but when we look at it on the 30-minute, things have been sitting sideways after the big dip, outflows rejected, and it's been underneath the midpoint all this time. There's only been 2 cross points where it almost crossed and never crossed here, and right now same thing here, right on the edge, but it has never crossed in the last several days. This is the closest that we've gotten. I'm going to be watching very carefully going into tomorrow, especially if the markets are pulling downwards. A lot of times AMC tends to get some attention, right? Same thing with BBBY. It's holding itself up at some supports, which we're going to look at in just a moment. But AMC, I'm going to be watching if it could cross here on the 30-minute, these inflows, as you see it right there, and if it can break through the resistance of $10, okay? Super important to watch that, but not guaranteed to move any higher if it doesn't cross the inflows, especially the 30-minute, since it's been below it all this time. Now, you could see how much inflows it's picked up from way down here, pulling downwards from the midpoint, all these outflows and inflows picking up, but not enough to impact the chart because it hasn't broken the midpoint. I'm going to be watching because this is the closest that we've gotten today in the pre-market and in the after hours to the midpoint, and if it crosses, to break out to the upside. That's going to be very interesting if it starts pulling it upwards, if a bull indicator pops up, because this has been under a bear indicator since $24, $25, and the outflows got crossed, and it's been having trouble since to get itself back up. That's what it's all about here with 42 Vision and everything going on with the inflows versus outflows. It gives us that edge, it gives us that clarity to maximize in either direction on what's going on within the volatility. Now, APE, same exact thing, but holding itself up a lot stronger. Very interesting, right? Now on APE, since it just recently got listed, it does not have a lot of information, and this is our first bear indicator on the 30-minute, popping up here at 685, and it rejected right around that area going into the aftermarket hours. Super important to watch this because the inflows and the outflows are right on the edge, right? Inflows are dominating, but all it takes is to cross right back down and create this type of effect. Not guaranteed to move exactly like it, but it dropped from 7 all the way down to 634, 70 cents, nearly a 10% drop in just these outflows, and it got that bear indicator. So I'm going to be watching for these inflows to continue to hold into tomorrow. But let's zoom in a little bit since there's not enough data on a bigger time frame. Now, on the 15-minute, this is actually the first time, other than way back here on the 23rd, on the 15-minute, that it crosses the inflows back up from falling into the outflow area. Outflows crossed yesterday, got that bear indicator at 716, went all the way down to 634. The inflow started to pick up. They had not crossed. You could see how it's kind of just sitting sideways there. And once it finally crossed a few bars before that bull indicator, it started to pick up momentum from 660s all the way back up towards 692, a 5% move. And here we are with the bull indicator in the process. Now, in the aftermarket hours, outflows are picking up, but we're still above the midpoint. I'm going to be watching that very carefully. If it could stay above it and pull away from it and to the upside and start reaching resistance levels such as $8 and even up towards $7.60 first, right? And then push back up towards 8 and have that continuation to the upside, guys. Now, let's also talk about GCT. A lot of eyes were on this one. This one's actually pulling back right now, and there's been a lot of speculation on whether it's actually going to find support or break out eventually from these levels, and it's at a very pivotal level in the chart. So on the 15-minute, got a bear indicator yesterday. Those outflows got crossed, and it's been having trouble to get back up. Today, all it did was fall from $31 to $25, nearly a whole entire $6, and the outflows show it, guys. Never got back up, but it's trying to get closer to it. I'm going to be watching if this could get pulled back up and cross over that midpoint to try to reach itself to newer highs or retest the resistance level of $31. But in the process, it needs to cancel out that bear indicator as well and get a bull indicator. Now, this is based off the 15-minute, right? Now, on the 30-minute, the picture's a little bit different because it is in the outflows. It's not as close to the 15-minute, and it got a bear indicator today on the way down at around $28, and the outflows have been dominating since yesterday in the aftermarket hours, and it continued. Now, it has received some inflows here, as you see right there, that green bar, but it's not working its way up closer to the midpoint. It needs to start pulling itself up if it's going to have any strength. Now, the key thing I'm watching is, will it shift back to red and pull further way down? And if it does, the key support level is 24.50. 24.50 gets broken through. The next support is $20, guys. These are the key levels I'm watching to the downside, and to the upside, we want to see this try to get back towards 30 and back towards $31 and break through these inflows on the inflow versus outflow indicator, and on 42 vision transition back up. It's currently hit a dip area, and the last time it got a dip area and it was followed by a bull indicator, it ripped, and this is the strength area here, what we call the rip area, from the dip to the rip and from the rip to the dips, right? Again, this is what 42 vision is all about. We see the dips from the rips, we get those bull indicators as extra layers of confirmation, cross those inflows, and on the way back down, outflows got crossed, bear indicator as an extra layer of confirmation, and we've hit a dip area, and it's at a very pivotal point, whether it breaks through support or finds support here and tries to double bottom and bounce again, or at least have some dead cat bounce in the process. We'll have to see. Now, BBBY. A lot of people are excited about this one after it popped back up after yesterday's news on the whole entire speculation of it being bankrupt and going into bankruptcy to now being cleared up that they actually scored a deal, or at least some funding is what the article states, almost eradicating and eliminating the possibility of bankruptcy. Doesn't guarantee the growth or anything of the company, but that was the big FUD that made things go even lower besides Cohen selling, right? So BBBY, big pop up, inflows picked up, quickly came back down, sat sideways yesterday into the aftermarket hours, popped back up, sat sideways again, and today it fell and it crossed the outflows again. And again, same exact pattern today, crossed back into the inflows, but there's a key difference. It got a bull indicator, okay? I'm going to be watching if it could hold above the midpoint and push higher, okay? Very, very important to watch this carefully. If it breaks towards 11 or above 11 towards $12, and if those two get broken through, the next resistance is $15. But right now, the main thing is to hold above these inflows, not go ahead and retest the midpoint, not cross back down, because the possibility of another bear indicator popping up and canceling out this bull indicator just got higher. But if this bull indicator holds true and it could start pulling away to the upside and stay above the midpoint and go higher, there could be some strength to retest these support levels that were once resistance levels and break above them, which is $11 and up towards $12.20, and then we could start talking about $15 and above. Very interesting setup here. I'm going to be watching these inflows, but in the bigger picture on the 4 hour, it still needs a lot more strength to actually go ahead and go from red back to the midpoint and have some strength to the upside. So that's also important as well to not be overlooked. But on the 1 hour, it is bringing itself back up and it crossed the midpoint as well. It's going to be very important to stay above it, and that the 1 hour, the 30-minute, and the 15-minute push further away to the upside as they've done before to go ahead and have some strength here within the chart. Now, on the SPY continues to push up higher. Inflows got crossed yesterday on the 30-minute, and it struggled to cross the day before, and you could see how things were just sitting sideways. You see it tried bringing itself back up. There was a lot of dip buying going on, but not enough to impact the chart. Look how many days it took. Those that bought the dip here, those that bought the dip here. It took almost 2 days to see results to get things moving, and the real crossover happened yesterday at around 10:30 a.m. and things started to run yesterday. If you don't remember that, the charts ran the first half of the day, pulled back down, some profit taking from traders, I would say, and then it just continued to go higher as these inflows continue to dominate and never cross back down. And here we are all the way up towards 418. It's going to be very important. 420 is a key resistance level to either break out with further strength, or I'm going to see here if these inflows continue to pull it up towards that area, or if it brings itself back down and the first support level is 416 and then below that is 414, and if these outflows start to pick up. But what's going to make a significant move happen in the SPY based off the 30-minute is if these outflows get crossed in the midpoint and it starts going back down. I mean, you could just see from right here at this point the outflows got crossed back on August 19th, right? And it got crossed and it stayed below it for 2 days straight. And both days that it pulled further away from the midpoint, you could see the fall. I went from 425 all the way down to 421, and then the next day from 421 all the way down to 412. Now the second day was more significant, but it all started with that bear indicator and those outflows crossing. And I'm going to be watching for that here as well, because it could create further weakness to retest the recent lows here of 410 and also 400. Okay, very, very important levels to the downside if things were to pull downwards. To the upside, I'm going to be watching if these inflows continue to pull upwards to the upside, and if we break above 420, 421, and then back up towards 423. Those are the tight levels I'm watching to the upside and downside. Very important here. Big day tomorrow. I'm going to be watching these inflows versus outflows, and on the 1 hour, you could see the same thing. They're above. So if the 30-minute and the 1 hour start to pull back down, retest these support levels, and about to cross the midpoint, that's going to be a very pivotal level of either outflows crossing or not crossing the midpoint and finding strength like it did today. The slight pullback from 417 back to 414, but it never crossed the midpoint, switched from red to green, and popped up from 414 to 420. Again, this is all about having clarity and maximizing within the moves and looking for setups that make sense to have that edge. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.